Weekend Update. The Weekend Update. Your weekly recap of news, current events, and trending stories. Let's do this. The Weekend Update with your host, Nate Armbruster.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Weekend Update. I believe this is episode 47. And yep, look at that. I am correct. I did that off the top of my head. And once again, I'm late. My apologies. I ended up going to the Detroit Lions Chicago Bears game at Soldier Field on Sunday. I promise, I don't know what it is about my Sundays. All of a sudden, I have so much shit to do, and I don't know why. So here I am again, recording it late, but I'm still recording it because I got nothing better to do. Like, what else am I going to do? I'm currently sitting in my apartment, and if you hear a fan in the background, I'm sorry. I tried to shut it off. This is one of the many perks of living in an old building. As you've probably heard in the past, things break, and I don't even know. So this is my issue. Now let me complain a little bit to you guys because, number one, the management of the building sucks. The bare minimum that you could do. I don't know how you can't just take care of the little shit that, and it's not even that hard. It's I'm not the type of person to email the building company about a new light bulb. I'm not that crazy. I'll put some new batteries in the thermostat, but it seems like that's not the issue here. And you tell them it's broken, they go, no, it's not. Then they come in, they press the button a few times, and it's see, it's working. But that's the problem, is it's not, because the fan's still running right now and everything is off. I took the cover off, I removed the batteries, I let it die, and yet still here we are, the fan is running. And it's dude, just go get a new thermostat. What are they, $100? That's how much the rent went up. You know what I mean? Just do it. Shouldn't you guys just have maybe a few new ones on hand anyway, given that everything's just gonna break at some point? See, this is why people hate landlords. And I don't even have it that bad, by the way. This is things are fine. This is just a little, bump in the road for my life. It's not I got a roof over my head. It's all fine, but it's God damn it, man. And, and I try, it's the holidays. I'm trying to remind myself to be grateful for what I got, and it's great. Everything is really good. But that's assuming that someone who doesn't have it good, if they ever do get to, we're always taught to think of people who have less than us. We'll think about, the poor people in third world country. And I'm yeah, but if they knew this life, a broken thermostat would also piss them off. You know what I mean? I just never understood the comparison there. It's don't forget it. It could be worse, and it doesn't really help people, I guess it does teach you to be grateful, but you're not really lifting those people up in the process. So I don't think it really makes you that good of a person. You just kind of go, oh, that's right, I could be homeless. And then at the same time, I'm don't you have a responsibility to take care of your property? I don't want this fan running all day. I got to pay for this shit. It costs energy. I am turning into a grumpy old psycho. I am. And I'm not, and this is what's bad, guys, is that it's not supposed to happen yet. I'm only 30. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. The midterms are over, but that's exciting. And it's just because it's over. No more stupid political ads. No more, doesn't it seem like every election, midterm, and then presidential election, doesn't it seem like every single election we get dumber and dumber? I don't know. I've only been able to vote for the last, I guess, handful of elections, right? Like the midterm, 2010, I think, was the first year I was eligible to vote. So I think that is when I started at least just paying attention, trying to learn the names. But even since then, doesn't it feel like we've just gotten a lot dumber? And what's the saddest part about that statement is that it doesn't matter what side you prefer, you think I'm right. People you can't even really vouch for your own side anymore. People have just lost their goddamn minds. There's a crime issue in Chicago, which I don't think anyone's pretending there isn't, but there was an ad going around on TV. I saw it maybe 3 times a day. You know, you have the TV, the news on in the morning or in the background, and during the commercials, you just hear this woman screaming like something horrible is happening. And, you know, you panic. You're like, oh, shit, what's going on? This poor woman is just robbed on the sidewalk. Like 4 dudes roll up in a car, run up to her, and, like, you know, throw her to the ground. And, you know, they take all of her shit. And at the end, it just says, vote for me, not the other guy, because it's his fault this woman got robbed. Like, that's the whole tone of the commercial. It's just 30 seconds of this woman screaming for her life on a Ring camera. Like, you know, she just happened to be, I don't know if that's the right place at the right time because there's footage of it and you can at least try and catch the guys, but I also don't know if it's good because now she's the subject of a political ad. I get it. Like, you know, nobody wants that to happen in their neighborhood or whatever, but is it really changing anyone's mind? Was anyone who is on the left like, you know what, that's a good point, I should vote for that guy? Like, it's not going to change. It's not going to change anything. I don't think so. It just bums me out because I'm like, how is this an advertisement? Just trying to scare the shit out of me, which you did. I mean, you kind of ruined my day, man. I'm trying to eat a bowl of cereal. It's 7 a.m. and I got to see this poor woman robbed. Look, I'm just glad it's over, okay? Especially right before Thanksgiving dinner conversations you're going to have to avoid next week. God, that's the worst part about the holidays. And I don't know why we always end up... I mean, I'm lucky. My family doesn't... It's never been like that. But, like, the jokes are true, you know? Like, when people joke about... Like, there's always some weird subject that comes up, and it's usually some vaguely political, you know, conversation that just... It just ruins the whole vibe of the dinner. Like, can't we just eat dinner and hang out, watch the football game, and be on with our day? For the record, I enjoy holidays with my family. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about other people who, like, I mean, you get it. You've heard the jokes. But the fact that this stuff always ties in with, like, the week leading up to Thanksgiving, you know? And just to put a little rift in the potential conversation topics. That's my favorite part about the holidays is we still do it knowing that we're going to be a little annoyed with the people that we're eating with. Ugh. I would rather go listen to people yell about Donald Trump than sit here with this fan on anymore. Like, listen to it. You know what I'm going to do? Because we did this with the shower head. Okay, when we moved in, like I said, this is an old building. The old shower head was disgusting. It was, and I tried to clean it. And I did that thing where you put a bunch of chemicals in some water, and then you tie the bag up. You kind of let it sit and soak. Well, as soon as I did that, the shower head sucked it all up. So all of a sudden, that stuff just goes up the shower head. That's not supposed to happen. But that's what happened. And then for the next hour, I let it, like, run because I didn't want to shower with bleach. So I just kind of let it, like, rinse out, you know? And I let it run until it was clear again. And then I was like, you know what? Screw that. We'll put a brand new shower head on this thing. But I kept the old one. And we're going to put the old one back on after we move out. I think I'm going to do that with this thermostat. I think I'm going to do that, put a new thermostat that I'll put the old one, the broken one, back on for the poor soul that has to live here next. Oh, this is another thing. Here's another little rant about my week so far. Okay, Monday morning I go out. So we have a courtyard in the building, and it's, you know, it's not like fancy, but it's nice. It's well kept, you know. The grounds crew does it. They get rid of the leaves every day. They clean it up. But the thing is, you're not supposed to let your dog run around in there, and people do it, and you're just kind of like, whatever. The rule is kind of like, hey, as long as you pick up after your dog, this should be the rule everywhere, by the way. As long as you pick up after him, do whatever you want. Just don't make me step in their shit, please. That should be the rule everywhere. And I follow that rule so much so that it makes me angry when I see dog shit on the ground that nobody picked up. And there used to be a garbage can, but the building got rid of it because somebody was, people would just load their trash in it to the point of where there's just now trash all over the place. So we kind of lost it as a punishment, which sucks when you're an adult and you're being like, you're like, okay, all right, we lost our garbage privileges. Now we have to walk a block to the dumpster. You know, that's what happened. So now everyone's way too lazy to walk around the building. Like, you got to take your dog out in the middle of the night. People just let them go in the courtyard. And then they, like, They either don't pick it up, which is infuriating, or they bag it and they leave it right next to the door. And there's 5 doors in the courtyard, so there's 5 different entrances, and the building is now on to us, right? Because every morning this guy comes in, sweeps it up, picks up any of the trash or whatever. Sometimes some trash will wait, the wind will bring it in or whatever. And after multiple complaints to the building, and they emailed everybody, right, saying, hey, just a reminder, don't be a piece of shit. Pick up after your dog. Well, finally, they put up signs everywhere. I mean, it's to the point where I would almost rather see dog shit than these signs because there's so many. And they even put them on little paint sticks and stuck them into the ground next to the door because people will put them in little bags. You pick up your dog shit in a bag, and they tie it up and leave it by the door for the next morning. But sometimes you see this bag there for an entire day, and you're like, you trash human, take care of your shit. So the other morning, Monday morning, right, walk out, there's a pile of dog shit in a bag right next to my door, and I go, you know what, I'm just going to take this to the dumpster, just going to be a nice guy, right? I didn't leave it there, but hey, it's Monday. I would hope that someone would do the same for me, maybe. I'm trying to put some good karma out there in the world, right? So of course, I walk around the corner. Who's standing there? The groundskeeper guy, who knows that I live in the building. I've seen him before. We don't really know each other, but he's always like, hey, how's it going? And he's asked me in the past, hey, are you the one not picking up after your dog? And I go, what? That's not me. I have bags. Like, I show him the bags. I'm like, I'm walking him. I don't let him go in the courtyard. I'm telling him that I'm following the rules. Well, he's not having it because, of course, he sees the bag in my hand, and he goes, is that the bag by the door? And I go, this? No, and I'm just, because I just didn't want to have this conversation. So this son of a bitch follows me all the way back to the door, nonchalant though. He's just kind of like, yeah, just sweeping up, and he's got like a broom or whatever. He sees me walk into the courtyard, he follows me all the way to the door, and he goes, that was the bag. Yeah, he calls me out right there, and it's like 8 a.m. I'm just standing there. I'm like, dude, it wasn't me. I just took it out. I threw it away because I was trying to be a good neighbor, but it wasn't mine. And then he doesn't believe me. Okay, you could see on his face. He's like, this son of a bitch is lying to me. So he goes on and he goes, I just don't know who would do such a thing. And I'm like, I know, it's crazy. I don't do it. I'm not that type of person. And then he continues just going like, man, it's just such an awful thing to do. He goes, I have to pick it up every day. And he goes, it's just so lazy and rude. And he goes, I feel so much pity for that person. It's such a pitiful thing to do. And then he stares into my soul as he's saying this. I started to feel bad. And I'm like, this son of a bitch thinks I'm the guy leaving dog shit out there, I'm sorry for the rant, but damn, it's been a weird week. I'm like, what is going on? Everybody's just acting so weird. And now this guy thinks that I'm not picking up after my dog. But it could always be worse, right? That's the saying. You could be this other person who has it a little worse than you. Honestly, who I'd rather, like, someone be like, I could be Jay Leno right now. I don't know if you guys heard, but he caught on fire in a gasoline fire. The guy's in his 70s, and his face caught on fire with gasoline. And I'm not laughing at him, but that is nuts, okay? You're in your 70s. And apparently he's going to be all right. But good God, could you guys imagine that? First of all, I couldn't even imagine working on a car, much less being covered in gasoline. You know what else I can't imagine is trying to run Twitter. Have you guys seen any of the Elon Musk, just the mess? Like, the guy, I don't want to say he doesn't know how to run a company, but he seems to be in over his head a little bit, doesn't he? Like seeing all of this unfold has really taught me that it doesn't really matter how much money you have. You don't necessarily know how to run a company, Look, I have no doubt that the guy, knows a lot about how to be a successful business person, but I don't think that anyone who owns their own business who isn't a billionaire doesn't have less knowledge necessarily. You know what I mean? I just hate that we tend to equate money and success with knowledge. That seems pretty dangerous to me. because just to assume that guy knows everything, which he doesn't, okay? Like, he can just afford to pay people who know what they're doing. Who's to say someone who owns, like, a small regional company that also does well doesn't know as much about running a business, Like, they might have something to contribute too, This all gets back to, I think this has been a consistent theme throughout the podcast so far, is that once you get $1 billion, and Elon has 150 or so, once you get to that $1 billion mark, you don't get to do anything anymore. You're done. You're not allowed to do anything. You cash out and you enjoy your life. You don't get to buy Twitter. You don't get to have any say in how things work because everything clearly went your way, right? You don't get to come in here and ruin all the fun. That's all he's done. Actually, he's kind of made it pretty fun, actually. It's kind of been pretty entertaining watching people just, mess with the guy. So who knows how much longer Twitter will be in existence. And, I think what will end up happening is somebody's going to end up buying it, right? For like a hell of a deal. That's got to be it, right? I just don't see how he's going to turn it into a profitable business because I don't know anyone who's going to pay. I don't know enough people to support the money they need to generate the income they need to be profitable. I don't think there are enough people that are going to pay $8 a month. I'm sure as hell not. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap it up for this week. Thanks for listening. If you are interested, please sign up for my email list. Go to my website, go to my Instagram, go to the episode description, click the link that says sign up for my email list, and I will add you to a very special list. It won't be spammy, don't worry. This will be literally a random thing whenever I'm making something new, when I'm putting something out. For instance, my album. If you want to be the first to know when it's coming out, which you'll know very soon, please sign up for the list. If you'll leave your zip code, I'll let you know when I'm performing near you. And that's about it. Don't worry, it won't be anything crazy. It won't be a weekly. I won't be bugging you. It's purely for keeping in touch, and that's all I want to do. So I thank you so much for listening. If you're enjoying the show, please leave it a good rating on whatever app you're listening on, and tell your friends, hit subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you in a few days. I promise this one will actually be on time. I swear. All right.
You've been listening to The Weekend Up Nate with Nate Armbruster, and you liked it, didn't you? If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review, and be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week on The Weekend Up Nate. Bye-bye.